What's up, marketers? Today I'm going to be talking about the Facebook ads strategies I'll be using to drive revenue for my clients in 2021. Now, I did a similar video on this subject in mid-2020, and those strategies are still getting really good results for my clients. But today's video is going to focus on brand new strategies, and these are the places where I'm finding the most traction in the early days of 2021. Now, the first strategy I'm discussing a lot with my clients right now is prepping for iOS 14. Now, I can't ethically start off with this video without mentioning the huge data change we have coming our way. In early 2021, Apple plans to launch the ATT prompt, which is going to massively restrict the way that Facebook reports, optimizes, targets, and measures the data from our potential customers. So any marketers or business owners that aren't informing themselves about these changes will be left behind in 2021 with potentially grave consequences, especially if you're using Facebook ads for app installs or conversion campaigns, which if you like money, you should be. That's why this change is such a big deal. So be sure to check out my video that's all about iOS 14. There's also a section of that video that really goes through the things that you need to prep and do, and I highly suggest going through that list and making sure that you are fully prepared for this big change. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how I'm approaching targeting in 2021. And again, with iOS 14, I really believe that this big change could actually affect the strength of our lookalike audiences as well as our custom audience retargeting pools. The one custom audience that is likely to not be affected as of right now, it appears to be engagement audiences. So it seems like your Facebook engagers and your Instagram engagers audiences are going to be safe, but what's really going to be affected here are your website and your pixel audiences coming from your website. So really the things that I'm going to be concentrating on in 2021 in regards to targeting, especially at the top of funnel, I'm going to have a renewed focus on interest targeting as well as continuing to utilize broad audiences. And then on the retargeting side, I think there is going to be a little bit more of an emphasis on those Facebook engagers, those Instagram engagers, and I'm going to continue to go a lot broader with my website retargeting. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about interest targeting because one of the big questions I get from you guys is, do I utilize single interest ad sets? And I do not, and I'm actually very against this, and I want to talk a little bit about why that is. Number one, I don't believe that people are single interest groups, so this idea that you can see which interest drove the sale is really misleading to me, and it just doesn't really make sense because I've actually seen the back end of how these interests are stacked together, because when you're targeting an interest on Facebook, you're not just targeting one interest. It actually is compiled with tons of other interests. And one of the things that stuck out to me is how not clean and mismatched that stacking actually is. For instance, if you wanted to target the Christian interest group, this actually is going to include additional interests. And one of those is Cristiano Ronaldo, the footballer. So do yourself and Facebook a favor by stacking your interest groups into categories or by layering similar interests together. I found that this is the most successful way to do things. Still seeing good results out of that in early 2021, and I'm going to continue doing that for the rest of the year. And again, just a little note on broad audiences. Broad audiences are ad sets with no interest or custom audience targeting, and they're still rocking it right now in 2021. And the idea here is that you want to use broad audiences so that your creative can do the targeting, and that's something that's working really well for me with my clients that are a little bit more at scale and that have invested heavily in their creative. Now, as these iOS 14 changes start to roll out, I might start segmenting Android out from iOS devices, but I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. I have to see when that starts really rolling out, but that's probably one of the first tests I'll be doing with my broad audiences. Additionally, I'm going to continue to use detailed targeting expansion and lookalike expansion on all applicable ad sets. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is creative, and one of the big trends I've seen in the later half of 2020 and the early days of 2021 is that shorter videos are doing better. Now, I used to see that the most optimal video length could be anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds on Facebook and Instagram ads, but now I'm seeing that 10 seconds or shorter is the most optimal video length. So one of the things that I'm urging all of my clients to do is to film quick videos with close-ups of their product and edit them down to 5 to 10 seconds to see how that runs. I've already done a few of these tests and they are outperforming all of the longer videos. So it's definitely something you're going to want to try. Another trend that I'm currently seeing is that less people are reading primary text, especially on Instagram. And the way that I've deduced this is I've noticed that when I'm doing copy tests on my ads, shifting around copy is having a lot less of effect than it used to. And I'm actually getting much bigger changes when I am changing around the copy that's on the actual creative. So the strategy I'm going to be leaning into in 2021 is to test more of the copy in the actual video, in the actual image, and split testing that. I'm still going to definitely be testing my primary copy, but the focus is definitely going to be shifting more towards that copy in the creative and utilizing the primary text to refer to what's in the creative so that I can get more people to take a look at what's happening in the ad. Now, the fifth strategy on this list is the one that I am most excited about. It's where I'm seeing the most traction with nearly all of my clients, and that is branded partnership ads, also known as whitelisting. And essentially, this ad type is a partnership between a content creator or an influencer that you can run paid ads to. You can see it says in partnership with X brand, and this just causes the product to be introduced to a potential customer in a way that feels way more genuine. This strategy has worked super well for me in both prospecting and retargeting, and it killed it for my clients during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and it's something I'm still continuing to do in the early days of 2021, and I'm still seeing great results from. This strategy is actually how I'm getting several of my clients to stop relying on discounts and promo codes in their Facebook ads, which is ultimately leading to higher profitability. So if that's one of your goals for 2021 on your Facebook ads, then you need to test out this strategy. The reality is that people want to buy from people. They don't feel that same warm feeling when they're buying from a brand. So this is definitely a strategy I'm going to continue to use heavily throughout the rest of the year. So right now I'm actually working on additional testing for this strategy for an upcoming video for you that's going to show you a hack to doing this without the use of influencers. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can see that video when it comes out. I think that this strategy is actually going to be a huge help to small businesses who utilize Facebook ads. And that is it. Guys, be sure to check out that other video I mentioned at the beginning with the strategies I was testing out in 2020. Those are still working super well for me, so you'll definitely want to give that a look. And if you have any questions, be sure to hit me up in the comments section, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.